Hey everyone, it's Alex here at Forever Classic Games. Recently we had a really special time over at the Twin Cities Con here in Minneapolis, and so I got to go with my partner Gina, and we met all these incredible people and got to talk to just some really inspirational various people in the industries, whether it's people in video games or anime or some of the celebrities that were there. It was a really awesome list of guests, and we went to a lot of great panels. But one of the greatest things that I got to do is I got to meet all three voice and mocap actors for Marvel Spider-Man 2. And that's Yuri Lowenthal, who played Peter Parker, Nadji Jeter, who plays Miles Morales, and Tony Todd, who plays Venom. And it was such a cool, like, interesting interview series. They were very quick chats, but I also got to have them autograph a couple things for us, and that was really cool. I'll have those with me for the rest of my days, and as will Joe, because I got him a little something too. So this is just those three interviews collected. There's some other interviews that we also did. We got to talk to, for example, the voice actress who portrayed Rey in Neon Genesis Evangelion from the 90s, which was a big moment for me, amongst a few others that I can't wait to share with everybody. But I'm recording this the night before we do the Midwest Mix Fest, which is a quarterly series of fighting game tournaments that we often stream at. And so Pete over there, I'll be helping him out, and we're the second stream, so it should be a lot of fun. Definitely subscribe to us, both on YouTube, just search for Forever Classic Games, as well as Twitch. So there's a lot of really cool things coming in the pipeline because of this trip and because of these interviews, and I really hope you all enjoy it. So without further ado, here are those three interviews, back to back. The only context is we were at Twin Cities Con, and it was recorded on a little hand recorder. So yeah, thank you everybody for listening so much. Check us out at foreverclassicgames.com, and if you would leave a review about this podcast on whatever podcatcher you're listening to, that would be fantastic. Thank you all, and we'll talk soon. All right. So, hi everybody. Alex here at Forever Classic Games. I'm here with Yuri Lowenthal, who famously is Spider-Man amongst many other favorites. Yuri, Spider-Man is such a long-running, like, American character. What is it like to be a part of that, like, core American pop culture icon?
It's as much as I, grew up like a kid reading comic books and watching movies and, loving superheroes. It feels like a dream that I have yet to wake up from. And yet, sometimes I feel the weight of it. I'm like, oh, don't mess this up. It's Spider-Man, for God's sake. But honestly, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's the best.
For some reason, it never clicked with me that you were Simone. Simone has some of the best motivational speeches in anything I've ever seen. What was that process like?
Gurren Lagann is still arguably my favorite show in anime. And it's what I always recommend to people first. Like, if anybody's ever asking for a recommendation, Gurren Lagann is always at the top of the list. And yeah, it's super motivational. It's super positive. It's heartwarming and has an awesome soundtrack. It's got mecha in it. It's literally got everything. Yeah. And it's always been one of my favorites. And now that we're talking about it, it makes me want to go home and watch it again.
I've rewatched it several times. Right. Last question: do you have any advice for those working in creative industries, doing the day-to-day, the grind of it? Do you have any particular ways that you get into a particular routine? Do you have life hacks, so to speak, on how to stay fully ready to roll?
You gotta keep the love alive, because if you got into it for the money, you realize the money's not always gonna be there. So for you to keep it up, you gotta stay in love with it. And I think one of the ways you can stay in love with it is to constantly be creating. And even if it's not like your dream project, there are little things you can do. There are things, and don't worry about whether those things that will then turn into the big thing. Just keep making stuff and keep doing things, and find your team, because none of us do this alone. So find those people that you love working with, that when you don't have the energy necessarily, sometimes they will, and they'll be able to pick up the slack. And so you don't have to do everything as well, because there are people who are going to want to write, and people are going to want to act, and people are going to want to compose music, and people are going to want to edit and direct. And so find those people that you love working with over and over again, and I think that'll help you through. But that's just, advice is kind of bullshit, because, what works for one thing, yeah, exactly, but I do believe, that has worked for me, so.
Thank you very much, Ari.
You're so welcome.
All right, if you would, just state your name and what you do for the record.
What's going on, you guys? Whoever's listening, the world. I'm Nadji Jeter, a.k.a. Miles Morales.
Very cool. So I actually got to work alongside you in a weird capacity, MomoCon, recently.
Oh, wow, okay.
I wrote those press releases. I work with the Stride people, and I was in that area when everybody's gathering, and that looked like a super fun time. I mean, what's it like being a part of the Spider-Man fandom?
Bro, it is a absolute honor. We're bringing a lot of impactful, messages and scenes to the world, and everyone is just relating to Miles in their own way, and Spider-Man in their own way. So it's just a crazy feeling to be a part of something so, like I said, impactful and just good for the soul and good for everybody.
Yeah. Miles feels to me like a really strong representation of culture and a celebration of black expression in pop culture. Is there a particular aspect of Miles that you're drawn to, or something that really kind of like makes it a part of what you do?
Makes it a part? Man, I mean, me and Miles have a similarity of just, going through certain losses and trials and tribulations in the world. So I want to say, man, the number one thing I probably connect to is, him being raised by a single mom now. So that's something that I've had a connection with, and that I think that me and Miles just have that bond over.
Very cool. And do you have a favorite moment from recording or a particular scene in the games that you're really fond of?
Favorite thing, favorite thing I want to say, of the scene of the game. I mean, the scenes or
like
the game in general.
Whenever you were being in process of it, like what's one of the memories that you really kind of like hang on to?
I know we have a lot of fun times on the mocap set. We get to be big kids basically. So, and I'm a method actor, so when I'm in the booth, I'm standing up on the chairs, I'm swinging my arms, I'm in a perch, position. So it's like we're having nothing but fun. So I think every day that we go on set is kind of like we can make the best memory because you get to be a big kid. Yeah.
Speaking of the kids, last question for you here, Nadji. What would you say to the kids that are, a part of the city or they're trying to find their way? What advice might you have for them?
Man, stay focused, keep God first, and just know that, whatever journey that you face, whatever obstacles you get in life, learn how to overcome them through a meaningful way, something that you could find to help somebody else out, so because everyone has their own story and journey, so so you gotta tap into your own and then learn how you could benefit and help somebody else out.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Alex here of Forever Classic Games. I'm here with Tony Todd, who famously just played Venom among many other characters. And so, Tony, the first question I have is, Venom is often a vocally charismatic character. Was there a particular technique or point of inspiration used to do your version?
Well, when I first got offered the job, I went to my favorite comic book store in L.A. called Golden Apple, and I talked to the manager. I said, give me your best 10, a collector's edition of Venom. And they gave them to me, and I looked at that for source. I looked briefly at Venom the movie, because Tom Hardy and I did a film together called Minotaur, like 15 years ago. So, and he actually tagged me on a couple of responses on my Twitter page, which made me very happy. So that was it, and and then making it my own. I want him to have a sense of joy in his mayhem, and also, I mean, he knows that he's frightening, but he delights on people's reaction. So that was my whole conquest.
Very cool. Do you have a favorite moment within the game or a special memory about that recording process?
Yeah, well, I love that you guys can finally become him. He's hinted. I remember when they first leaked the first vocal sample, "We are Venom." That just made the whole comic world light up with joy. Yeah.
And then do you have any advice or hopes for the future of working within games and media? Because I know things are kind of bleak with like the various strikes and people wanting to do as much as they can. Do you have any thoughts about the future of working in this industry?
I love the voiceover world. I've done everything from theater to TV to film and now video games. I don't have a favorite. All of them are different and unique. Theater's probably my favorite. Let me take that back. But, I hope there's more inclusion, and I want these strikes to be settled so that everybody can get back to work and do the thing that brings them joy and happiness, not just for themselves, but for everybody. Players, audiences, people everywhere.
Thank you so much for your time, Tony. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's brief and easy.
You